It started as this grand vision, didn't it? This huge, like, 14-acre compound in Flagstaff, Coyote Pass, meant to be their legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Perpetual happiness, the whole deal.
And it ended with, well, not just divorce, but this really shocking private confession from Kody about malice.
That's right. I mean, when it all finally imploded, Kody Brown actually admitted pretty candidly, too, that he seriously considered financially ruining Janelle, one of his now ex-wives.
Ruining her. Wow.
Yeah. He said, and this is a quote, "I've thought about screwing her." And get this, he claimed only Robyn, his legal wife, had the moral compass to talk him out of it.
That is something else. And then you contrast that with Christine.
Right.
She basically paid $10 for her freedom, sold her share of that same land, the land Kody was maybe plotting to use against Janelle, for just $10.
That contrast says it all, doesn't it? Financial warfare on one side and just complete liberation on the other for basically nothing. That's the core of this whole mess.
Welcome to Starscope Report.
Hey, everyone. Here we break down all the Hollywood drama, the music industry chaos, influencer scandals, basically the stuff everyone's talking about.
And today, we are diving deep, really deep, into the absolute spectacular collapse of the Brown family from Sister Wives.
And we're zeroing in on Ground Zero, that infamous, never-built $820,000 property, Coyote Pass.
Yeah, our mission today. Cut through the reality TV edit, We want to understand how this piece of land, meant to be their forever home, their symbol of unity.
How it became this, financial anchor dragging everyone down in this huge emotional battleground.
Exactly.
Coyote Pass. It's supposed to be the physical manifestation of the whole Plural family dream, their little happy kingdom.
History's going to remember it differently, though. The Unbuilt Kingdom, maybe. And here's the key thing we found looking into this. The land not getting developed, that wasn't the cause of the family breaking up. No, it was just the most expensive symptom. A really, really expensive physical sign that the family unit itself was, already fractured beyond repair. And the timeline is just wild when you put it together. The contradiction is staggering.
Totally. The marriages fell apart way, way faster than they even managed to pay off the land, let alone sell it.
Which turned that whole utopian dream into this awful financial and legal nightmare. Let's track how fast it all crumbled. Okay, so rewind to 2018. They buy the 14 acres, $820,000. This is it, the permanent spot after Vegas.
Right, the dream launch. But, the sources we looked at, they make it pretty clear the foundation had cracks from day one, maybe even before day one.
How so?
Well, the whole move to Flagstaff, buying this specific land, reportedly it was mostly Kody's idea, like a whim. There wasn't this big unified family agreement.
Okay.
And by 2018, when they dropped all that cash, the relationships were already pretty damaged. Kody and Mary, spiritually done. Kody and Christine, hanging by a thread.
And Janelle.
Already kind of transactional, strained. So they basically bought this fantasy property to paper over a reality that was falling apart.
Which brings us to that timeline clash. If this land was the future, why did the future end before it even started?
Exactly. Look at the dates. Christine leaves, separates November 2021.
Right.
Janelle's out, December 2022.
Okay.
Mary finally makes the official separation announcement, January 2023.
So 3 out of 4 wives are essentially gone.
Before they even finished paying for the land, that didn't happen until June 2023.
Wow. That's hard to wrap your head around. They're committed to the debt, but not the family that was supposed to live there.
The motivation to actually build anything just evaporated years before they owned it free and clear.
Yeah.
But they were still chained to it financially, emotionally, relationally. They had already checked out.
And the way they bought it was a huge problem too, right? Financially speaking.
Oh, absolutely crucial. It was a massive strategic error looking back. They sold their separate Vegas homes, liquid assets, cash in hand.
Right. 4 separate places.
And pooled all that money into this one huge, illiquid piece of land, controlled mostly by Kody, which basically stripped the spiritual wives, Janelle and Mary especially, of their financial independence right when things were getting dicey.
And it wasn't even like the money was pooled fairly before the purchase, was it?
No, that's another layer. Sources suggest that cash from Janelle's and Mary's Vegas home sales actually helped fund the down payment on the huge house Kody and Robyn bought for themselves, separately.
Separate from Coyote Pass. Wow.
So yeah, Coyote Pass wasn't launching the dream. It was anchoring everyone else financially. Janelle even called her stake in it her entire estate. She couldn't really move on until it was dealt with.
Okay, so everyone's kind of stuck, but Janelle does something completely different. She becomes the lone homesteader.
Yeah, that move in summer 2021. So symbolic.
Tell us about that. She just moves on to the raw land.
Pretty much. She got frustrated with all the delays, bought her own RV, put her own money into it, and just moved on to Coyote Pass. Primitive conditions, no proper utilities, just making a stand.
That's more than just wanting to live cheap.
Oh, way more. It was a deliberate statement, a power play, really. Trying to shame everyone else into action. Like she was shouting, okay, I'm ready to build this life. Who's actually joining me out here in the dirt?
And the answer was?
Crickets. Silence. It was the ultimate test of who was actually committed, and nobody showed up.
And Kody's reaction is fascinating here.
Fascinating and, frankly, pretty hypocritical. He was apparently annoyed by the RV, complained about the lack of luxury, like, where could he shower comfortably?
Seriously.
Yeah. But then later, when Janelle got a much nicer apartment off the property, he praised that as the best living situation they'd had in Flagstaff.
So, comfort over the dream.
Seems like it. His excitement was for luxury, not the hard work of building something together. While Janelle's literally living on the land, Robyn's in her huge house. It's a perfect metaphor. Janelle was the last true believer.
Which leads us to Kody's role shifting.
Right. This is where you see him pivot. He goes from being the architect of the dream, the cheerleader, to its primary saboteur. That's how some sources frame it. Prioritizing Robyn, their sort of monogamous unit, above everything else. And you see this betrayal in how the land itself got divided up, legally disenfranchising the others.
Okay, the division. It ended up really unequal, didn't it?
Yeah.
How did Kody and Robyn end up controlling the biggest chunk?
Well, the sources say it was messy and deliberately unfair. Christine leaving was the first domino, when she sold her share of the biggest parcel to Kody for that $10.
Yeah, the $10 sale again.
That immediately gave Kody and Robyn together control over the largest lot, like 5.17 acres, the prime piece, which meant they got the biggest payout when it finally sold.
But the reason he gave Mary for her smaller share, that was something else.
Oh, that was brutal. He gave Mary the smallest lot, just 2 acres, and explicitly told her she wasn't entitled to an equal share because, quote, I only have 1 child with her.
Wow. Weaponizing motherhood.
Exactly. Linking her financial worth directly to how many kids she had with him. Completely erasing decades of her contributions, her sacrifices. Financially punishing her for something she couldn't change.
And then you put that next to his confession about Janelle. Thinking about financially screwing her. Needing Robyn to be his conscience.
It just validates everything, doesn't it? Every suspicion those women must have had. He basically admitted he wasn't acting like a loving patriarch anymore, but like a self-interested business partner, ready to exploit their faith and lack of legal standing.
That completely shatters the whole premise of the plural marriage, the patriarchal bargain.
Absolutely. He wasn't looking out for the whole family. He was looking out for his unit with Robyn. And that betrayal, that's precisely why Janelle and Mary eventually had to ditch the family's internal rules and get lawyers involved, protect themselves under state law.
Let's talk about the money again, because that seems central.
Yeah.
Was this Coyote Pass dream ever actually possible financially?
Probably not. And that leads to what some sources call the unspoken veto, just the sheer financial reality of it all.
The $820,000 purchase price was just the beginning, right? What were the hidden costs?
Huge hidden costs. We're talking estimates of around $200,000 just to get basic utilities out there, water, sewer, electricity, to 4 separate building lots.
Okay, that's a chunk right there.
And then building 4 houses, even modest ones, in Flagstaff, easily over $1.5 million, maybe more. Where was that kind of cash going to come from? They didn't have it.
So the fact they couldn't get construction loans, couldn't finance it, the 5-year delay in paying off the land itself.
Became the perfect out. Exactly. That delay until June 2023 wasn't just a step they had to take. It was a convenient, indefinite excuse. It let them avoid facing the fact that they simply couldn't afford the multi-million-dollar development.
It basically bought Kody and Robyn 5 years.
5 years of breathing room, yeah.
And Robyn's role in all this seems complicated.
Yeah, she plays this kind of contradictory part. She talks sentimentally about the vision, you know, the heartache of the dream dying, but she stayed put in her big, separate mansion. Her actions never really matched the talk.
What was her leverage there?
Well, she was the legal wife, and Arizona's a community property state. That means she technically had joint ownership in pretty much all the family assets. Nothing could really be resolved financially or legally without her okay.
So doing nothing was actually strategic.
You could argue that, yeah, effective strategic inaction. By keeping the property undeveloped, keeping the other wives' money tied up in this illiquid asset, it kept Kody's attention, his time, the dwindling family resources, all focused on her and her kids.
And ensured that when the land finally did sell for $1.5 million.
She and Kody were perfectly set up to walk away with the biggest liquid share. Her passivity paid off, in a way.
So the final stages, communication just breaks down entirely.
Completely. Mary summed it up perfectly in one source. None of us are talking to each other because none of us trust each other. They stopped being a family unit and started acting like, well, suspicious business competitors.
Which inevitably leads to lawyers.
Yep. Janelle was the first to lawyer up. She felt like she was constantly being kept in the dark about the land, about Kody's plans. She needed to protect her entire estate, as she put it.
And she advised Mary to do the same.
She did, because she realized the game had changed. It wasn't about faith and family promises anymore. It was about Arizona property law, secular law.
So this whole fight over Coyote Pass, over the land, it wasn't really about the dirt, was it?
Not at all. At the end of the day, it was a proxy war, a final, really bitter fight for acknowledgement. For years of feeling neglected, seeing favoritism, dealing with broken promises from the patriarch.
Janelle fighting for her share was about more than money.
Oh, definitely. She was fighting for validation, for recognition of decades she poured into a family structure that ultimately discarded her.
And looking back, you really see Janelle's vindication here. She's the only one whose actions ever really lined up with that original goal of building on Coyote Pass.
Absolutely. Kody had already shifted to monogamy. Robyn seemed more interested in control and maybe nostalgia. Mary was too far estranged. Christine chose freedom. Only Janelle actually tried to make the dream happen.
So the $1.5 million sale in April 2025,
yeah,
it wasn't just selling land.
No, it was the final divorce decree for the entire Plural family idea, the official end.
Okay, so summing it up, Coyote Pass failed because why?
3 main things, really. 1, it was financially impossible from the start. 2, the relationships were just too broken to fix, irreparable. And 3, there was a total lack of collective will, especially from Kody, the leader.
The sale was just the necessary painful end to sever those last ties.
Exactly. Let everyone finally walk away.
Which leaves us with one last question for you, the listener, to think about.
What's that?
If they had somehow found the money, say $1.5 million plus, and actually built those 4 houses side by side on Coyote Pass, would living next to each other have healed anything?
Or would it have just given them 4 front-row seats to watch the whole thing inevitably disintegrate anyway?
Something to ponder.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.